It's such a popular sport, and with the way recruiting has exploded, I think a lot of people want to get their eyes on the guys that are coming to school early, and then just get an idea of what their team's going to look like as they prepare for the fall.
Every Clemson fan that I've talked to in the past month or so, that says they're coming to the spring game, I say, why are you going? We want to see Trevor Lawrence. Is it because of his hype? Is it because they want to see the new kid on the block, or all the above?
Well, the backup quarterback is always the most popular guy on campus, but I think with what he was able to accomplish, as a high school player, just the winning, how he put his team on his back, and obviously with the recruiting and how he's lived up to that and all the other settings, I think everybody just wants to see for their own eyes just how good this young man is.
How did you guys split up the quarterbacks?
Streeter tried to do it as evenly as possible. I think you got Hunter and Trevor on one side, and you got Kelly and Chase. And obviously those guys are going to get an opportunity to get equal reps and go out and compete.
How excited are you to see those guys and closest thing to a game-like situation as it'll be for a few months?
It's huge because those guys they're not going to be live, but now you add into some other elements where you got the crowd, you got distractions of the crowd. Now you got them working with guys that they may not have gotten reps with because you're splitting up the teams, and now there's new chemistry and cohesion that has to be developed with the offensive line. So you're going to stress those guys, as best as you can without having an actual game environment.
Coach, I heard you and Coach Scott will be on one side together calling plays. Who's going to call plays for the white team?
I believe Coach Streeter. He's going to have the challenge of calling plays, and again for him, I know he's excited about that because he spent several years as an offensive coordinator, and he's really helped Jeff and I through the transition of becoming coordinators here at Clemson. So I know he's excited, and he's going to have his quarterbacks over there that he's going to be able to hopefully dial up some plays and give them some good looks.
Excited about going against Coach V on the other sideline?
Always. I mean, and I've said it before, and I give Coach Venables and that defensive staff a lot of credit for our success. We are where we are offensively is because we get our nose bloodied in practice, and over time, our guys that they get exposed, and it causes them to get better. So it's always good to go against Coach Venables. And again, for a play caller, it's always an opportunity to challenge and sharpen your skills.
What are the big things you're going to be looking at with those quarterbacks in particular?
First and foremost, just the ability to manage the game. Take what's there within the system, and just see those guys with the coaches out the field, with the crowd noise, and just the different things that we can add from a stress standpoint. Just see how they manage it. So first and foremost, just be able to go out there and just function, on their own, and see who can put together drives and who can lead the team.
Obviously, the playbook's going to be limited. Is there anything out there special you might toss out there for the fans for the weekend, just for them to see something?
Oh, now you put me on the spot. You're trying to get the good stuff. But, biggest thing is making sure that we're making it equal for everybody, giving everybody an opportunity. And you got to take into consideration you're going to have guys in spots that they may not have been in. You might have some guy that's in a starting role that's been a backup, so who's not used to going out there first. And so when you add those components, you want to make sure that you give them a plan where it's easy and it's simple that they can go out and execute and play fast. So, we're going to try and make sure that we work our core stuff and make sure that the quarterbacks, the wideouts, and everybody on offense can handle the core stuff and then go from there.
Tony, who's the DC on your side?
Venables is going both ways.
He's going to go both ways.
So he's going to call defense on both sides. Yep.
Obviously, you're going to be focused on your game plan, but when you go back and watch this film at some point next week, what do you want to see out of the offensive players?
I want to see competition. I want to see them compete. I want to see key guys in certain spots that they may have somebody next to them that they're not used to. See how they handle that adversity. For the quarterbacks, make sure that they manage the system. Can they do the little things when they have these extra distractions as opposed to, when you add in the crowd and you add the mixing up, and see if we can create some new chemistry. And then overall, just execution and making sure that the guys have the right mentality, that it doesn't matter whether I'm starting or whether I'm a backup or whether I'm on the white team or the orange team, that we still go out and we try to execute at a high level.
Coach Sweeney said on Monday that today would be a day where you guys really sit down with your players and talk to them about summer expectations. What exactly does that entail?
The biggest thing is understanding that they got to have the mindset that it doesn't matter if the coaches aren't out there. We still got to have the same intensity about our business, because the way the NCAA has set it up, we're limited with the access that we have to them in the summertime. But for us, the best teams are led from within, and this is an opportunity for the players to develop that leadership out there on their own. And so the accountability, the effort, the intensity, the focus, it has to be just as if we're having a practice with the coaches out there. So really just setting the expectations, and then also giving them the plan on how we want to execute our practices in the summer when we're not there.
What have you seen, I guess, the biggest area of improvement from day one of the spring until now?
Just overall, offensively, I think just the ownership of tempo. There were a couple of days where when we came off of the break that we didn't quite have the tempo, but overall I think there's been a buy-in from a tempo standpoint. I really like the competition at every position. I think it's making everybody better. We had some specific concerns going in, especially losing some key guys from last year's team, but feel confident in the guys that are stepping up. So really, just pleased with overall the ability to go out and produce, consistently throughout the course of spring. A lot of times in spring it's tough on offense, because from a depth standpoint, you're down the offensive line, you're down receivers, but we had quality depth, and that gave us the ability to go out and have success, which builds confidence, which will only springboard us in the summer as we attack our summer plan.
Coach Swinney's been quoted as saying he felt like he could go out and win with any of the 4 quarterbacks that you guys have on the roster. As far as installation in that offense goes, do you feel the same confidence in all 4 quarterbacks?
No question. With what we put in this spring, and again, it's not the entire package, but when you're talking about 75% of your core package is in, and to see all those guys function, and not just function, but function at a high level and have success, and each one of them has opportunities to improve. But definitely agree with what Coach Swinney said. Can go out and win with any one of those 4 guys.
Are you pleased with what you've seen from those running backs this spring?
Overall, yes. There were some days where each one of them I thought could have had a better day and really strained themselves. But overall, I thought we had a very competitive spring. Those guys really pushed each other. I saw each one of them get better in areas that I challenged them to get better. Still got room for improvement, but overall, as a whole, really pleased with where we are, the competition level. But there were some days where those are learning opportunities for them and an opportunity for me to coach them.
Has there been any separation, or is it still pretty?
If you started how we started with Taven being at the top, I think the other 2 have really pushed him and probably leveled it out a little bit more than where it was, and that's going to be key for this summer, because now everybody knows that we haven't settled this thing yet, that there's going to be a lot that can be gained this summer and in fall camp, and so I really like the push from the other 2 guys, and that's caused Taven to have to elevate his game, and I think that's the one thing we've been challenging him is to just go out and dominate and be the player that he's capable of being.
He said he's lost some weight this spring, and then Coach Swinney was saying he had his best practice of the
he did.
since he's been here Friday.
No question, and I think that's a function of those other 2 guys, being consistent, being explosive, and pushing him and he's starting to feel that heat from those guys coming behind him. And the thing with Taven is, when he first got here, he was coming off of the shoulder, and so he needed a little bit of extra weight to help him to be able to function. And now he's at a point where his strength is caught back up. Now we're trying to stream him down just a little bit and see, can we pick up some more initial explosion. He's a guy that we know when he hits the open field, nobody's going to catch him. But he's different from Travis in that Travis is very explosive initially, and he can maintain his top speed. We're trying to get Taven to that point to where he can increase his initial explosion to complement that long speed that he has.
Tony, given how much uncertainty usually accompanies ACL tears, how, uplifted are you to see Garrett doing what he's done during spring? Is that one of the biggest sort of?
That's we talked about it. That's probably a guy that maximized his opportunity the most, not just this spring, but when he was injured. And you're seeing him that his confidence is at an all-time high. He's catching the ball. He's looking more fluid, in his route running. And so he probably had the best spring of any of those guys, and really happy for him. And you knew that he was the kind of guy that had the core makeup that with the adversity, he was going to use it to make him better. And he took that time not just to focus on rehabbing his knee, but to improve every area of his game. And you're seeing that as we've gone through spring.
You think he's had the best spring out of the tight ends?
I would say so.
Okay.